All right, hey, good afternoon everybody. This is Ed with Team Aquascape over in New Lenox, Illinois. We are southwest of Chicago. Our pond renovation is completed. We're just wrapping up a few things right now. We're cleaning up edges. We're doing some retaining wall work. We washed everything down. Everything is looking great. Hey O'Hare, what's up? So what I want to do is I want to walk you through everything that we did, and I'm going to flip this around real quick just so you can kind of see what we completed since yesterday. All right, so if you remember what we did yesterday, this is what we started out here. So we had that pond. Hey Josh, what's up? Seahawks, how's it going? So remember what we did. Stace, what's going on? Remember we cut this edge all the way back over here. We dug this section. What we did was we took that waterfall over on that side, we completely moved it, and what we did was, instead of having just this big, hey, appreciate it, we're gonna keep stuff coming to you, Stacy. So what we did was, instead of just having that big sheet of water coming down, we turned it so it's visible from that room right there. So you can see the waterfall. We're getting ready to turn it on here any minute. We have it kind of crashing down into a little pooling area. You could also see we got a little bit of liner over here. Hey, fish guy, what's going on? So then we're going to have a couple little waterfalls coming out this section. One's going to kind of go into that little area, and then everything else is going to come this way over into our skimmer. Nick is dropping in. Hey Connor, how's it going? So Nick is dropping in some boulders over on this side. We got the dosing system is in place. So that dosing system, what this is going to do is, it's a system that's going to take a little bit of water treatments, and it's going to put them directly into our skimmer. So here's our skimmer basket here. We have our pump. This is our overflow over in this section. So that's really important, because whenever you get heavy rains, whenever we get those heavy rains, we want that extra water to kind of go away. Now I'm also going to go back, put that lid back on here, back over to our drawing here real quick. So if you remember, yesterday we had a lot of exposed edges. So it was a lot of little rock, a lot of little cobblestone. I'm talking like fist size type stuff, as well as river rock. Hey, Paul and Gracie. So we got rid of all of that stuff, pulled it all out. We dumped all that stuff way over in the back part of the property, and we came in with these big, beautiful boulders over in here. So this is that Wisconsin granite. This is a glacial granite stone. It's nice and rounded. It's been tumbled through that glaciation process, and it kind of rounds it all out, but you do get some fractured pieces with it. So over here, you can see we have our pretty good water quality right now. We just kind of cleaned everything up. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn this pond on, and it is going to kind of muddy up the water a little bit. And that's just because there's sediment and dirt and stuff like that on everything. So what this will do is it'll kind of make things a little bit cloudy in here for a couple days. We also have that little fish cave that we put in over on this side. But one of the things that I wanted to show you from this vantage point is, look at the difference that we have over here. So instead of having all of that exposed rock, we basically just barely have those rocks poking above waterline. And then by the time we get some perennials and stuff over in there, that's just going to make that entire edge just disappear. So all that plant material, all of those, the perennials and things like that, will kind of creep over those edges. It'll soften everything up. Again, there's that waterfall. It's going to be visible right here from the screened-in room. We still have a little bit of work to do over here. So when we are done with this edge, it's going to look like that. So we're going to take some more boulders. What we're going to do is we're going to take some more boulders over in here. Oh, it's lagging, huh? Sorry, fish guy. I don't know what to do about that. Must be just a bad connection. So what we have is, we're going to come in here with a bunch of big boulders. We're going to trim off all of this excess liner. You can see over here, Stacy, we are going to turn this on in just a couple minutes. Actually, about 1 minute. Actually, yeah, go ahead, Nick, plug it in. So we're going to plug it in right this second. So you can see we got some of these big anchor stones on either side of that waterfall. So those are, we call those frame rocks. Those frame rocks are literally framing out the waterfall. The reason that we do that, very, very simply, it's going to look a little bit more natural, because if you've never seen waterfall in nature, and again, this is not a natural, obviously natural system. This is man-made. You can see our water's kind of creeping up over everything. Look at that. Great sound, nice little splash, completely different than the last one, which is what we're going for. We want to get a little bit more of that sound. But what we did was we came in with those big anchor rocks, and then we came in between with some other smaller stuff. We created a nice little flat spillway going across that top, just to allow that water to cascade. And then from there, we kind of put in a series of other smaller rocks mixed in there just to kind of break things up. So the challenge with working with rocks like this, working with this smooth granite rock, it's not really jagged, is the water tends to hug the stone. So what happens is you don't get that waterfall effect. So what we looked for was a series of broken or fractured rocks. So those broken and fractured rocks actually give us that little bit of an edge to kind of create that cascading style of a waterfall. So the water hits and it bounces and it creates a little bit more sound. You can see that split over in here, which is working real well. So water's kind of splitting around that unique rock, and what we tried to do is we wanted to get a little circulation going back in that area, and then water going in this section, back over to our skimmer. We have our viewing rock right over here. So this is actually for viewing as well as feeding fish, nice solid stable stone. So now what we can do is we could come over here, we could feed the fish, which are actually in a storage container on the other side. But you can see how this skimmer system works here. It's the other thing I wanted to point out. So I'm just look at the little bubbles and stuff. Look at the cottonwood seeds that are on the surface. So watch all that stuff just get slowly sucked into that skimmer. Now the reason, I think, if you have an existing pond and you don't have a skimmer on it, that is the number one thing that I would add. And there are multiple reasons for that, and I could talk an hour just on that alone. But a skimmer basically is going to suck in the surface water. The reason why that's important, number one, is all that debris gets caught right into the basket. So any leaf debris, any stuff like that could be easily removed. You have easy access to your pump. You have easy access to all of your other water treatments and everything. If you need to get to your pump, you could just close this door, snap that shut, and look what happens. It's going to draw all of that water out of that skimmer. So it's going to continue to suck that water down because now I have a barrier here. I stopped that skimming action, and now you can see all of that stuff. We have our filter mat down inside of here. I have access to everything. I could actually go in here, maintain everything without draining a drop of water out of the pond. Now you could hear the pond that's kind of sucking dry in there. Now I could just pop this back open. It's kind of stuck on me here. There she goes. Hard to do with one hand. So now look at all that stuff rushing back in. It's going to pull all of that surface debris back over into this. Nick is over there. He's kind of fine-tuning the waterfall just to kind of get a little bit of that splash kind of under control. The other reason why, so the number one reason is debris. I started talking about the skimmer when we get back on track. So we got lots of leaves around here. Look at all the trees and everything. So all that leaf debris, if you don't remove it, it's going to sink to the bottom of the pond. It decays, and during that decaying process, it's going to release nutrients into the water. Those nutrients could foul the water, could cause stress for your fish, and eventually will change the entire water chemistry of the system. So we want to remove that stuff from the system. So this is an easy way to do that. The other thing that this is important for is that filter up there, right where Nick is located. So that waterfall unit is actually a biological filter, and that biological filter is home to different types of microorganisms. So those microorganisms are feeding off of all the dissolved waste that's generated from the fish waste and from decomposing compounds in the water. But those little microorganisms need oxygen. So by sucking the surface water into the pump, so the top area of the pond, this area is in direct contact with the atmosphere. This section of the pond is going to have high dissolved oxygen. So we want to take that high dissolved oxygen water into our skimmer, oxygenating it again because you can see a little bit of turbulence in here. We're going to send all of that water up to our filter, and that's going to give those microorganisms the necessary oxygen that they need to effectively break down all the organic compounds inside of the pond. So again, there's a lot of stuff that happens in ponds, and I could talk for literally days. I mean, you can get a PhD degree in water chemistry and limnology and everything associated with that. And unfortunately, we don't have time for all of that stuff. So I just wanted to kind of give you that high-level explanation of what's happening here. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue cleaning everything up. I'm going to walk around. I'll show you this little retaining wall that we're working on as well. That retaining wall, you can see right over here on this side, that retaining wall was put in place, and basically we wanted to retain all of that soil, and that's because we changed elevations. You can see, and it's pretty typical around the world, that you're going to have your home is going to be higher than the surrounding landscape. That's because you want water to drain away. So when you bring a pond close to the living area, you're going to be working basically against the slope. So what we did was we kind of brought in those big boulders behind me to kind of level everything out to get that water level as high as possible. So again, it's been a busy day trying to wrap stuff up over here. So I hope you liked everything. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you like, what you dislike, so we can keep giving you that valuable information so you can make yourself a better ponderer. All right, you guys have a great day. We'll see you soon. I think I cut something off. Wait, I might still be live.